Well, Darren, 3-0 defeat today. Sum that one up for us.
Well, there's a fragility to us at the minute, and whether that's physically, mentally, or both, I don't know. I want to be sensitive. Mentally, I'm still not at my best, and so I want to be considerate and show empathy. But I can't say that for forever. But there's definitely it's not soft. There's definitely a fragility to us. I think that's probably the best use of how we explain, and it's all coming at once, and it is all coming at once, and it's coming at a very tough time anyway for us all. And it does feel like, the big man's turned on us a little bit. But if I told you the stories of injured players or real players, I can't write it. But I thought second half we were great. I said to him at half time, this is our problem as a team. This is our problem, and we have to shoulder this blame and responsibility as a team, and try and do better, as we move forward. So, I don't really know how better to reshape them, because we've got one midfield player at the club now. He's 17 years old, bless him. But I thought second half, look, we did better. We contained, didn't we? We contained. We didn't ever look like scoring a goal, and we were kind of just patching up, plastering over our wounds from the first half.
With those injuries then, Darren, let's talk through them. Matt Worthington back in the side today, brought off before 10 minutes, and then Albie Skendi as well, taking a knock from one of his own players. What's the latest with those two to start with?
Well, Matt trained yesterday, and he's had a problem with his hamstring, but it's his other hamstring in this one. So he might have been overload compensating on it, I don't know. Albie, we think, has got maybe a suspected fractured rib, which is a huge blow for us, because physically he covers so many and so much. Reece Murphy felt his old injury, even though he trained yesterday. He felt his old injury on the sideline, in the warm-up. We didn't change anything because we couldn't change anything. Reece tried to get himself into a position where he could play, but he didn't think he could. Alex Bradley was poorly overnight. He was in the side to play instead of Worthington. And we're kind of reacting off of, okay, what is available, what can go out there, what can try and offer us the best chance of winning. But when I look at the group that was out there, especially second half at the end, because of young Toby, and I'm more in development right now than winning. I mean, it's a development team, and you have to have a different mentality when you're dealing with learners than you can with the old men. So you have to approach it in different ways. But there, like I said, there is a fragility to us. There's a fragility to it. I don't think the ref helped again. We tried to make a sub before the first goal. He wouldn't let us. You heard me second half about trying to get subs on. I mean, I don't know how difficult it is to take a card, punch 4 numbers into a calculator type machine, tell the ref who's connected to you, sub, put the ball up and get him on. When we've got injured players, is it not their duty to protect the health and safety of the players? So things like that. But again, if you start spiralling into pity, you end up very much, I think, bringing more of it onto yourself. And lots of things. It doesn't feel great right now.
Let's talk about one positive then. One of those subs that did come on, Toby Stevens, young player, big future ahead of him, and it must be great to see a youngster come onto the pitch for Yeovil Town.
Toby deserved to play today. The way he trained yesterday, he deserved to come onto the pitch, and it wasn't a sacrificial sub. It was a he deserves this opportunity. Got loads to do. He's only a first-year apprentice, remember. But he's with us for next year under contract. I really like Toby. I really like it. I have to remind him all the time about his duties as a midfield player. But as you see, he took the ball. He tried to go and win it back. And as someone at 17 years old, you know, I think from and fortunately I've got lots of experience in kind of that identification of promising young players. I think he's got a really great opportunity. But we're going to have to create a better environment for him to progress other than a come on at 3-0 down. He deserved it. I think if it was a year on, I would have started him because he's a midfield player and we haven't got any. I just thought he needed a little encouragement to say, look, this is what it's like. It's a lovely ground. It's a proper football club, Wrexham. And give him that kind of that opportunity to taste it, come away. He'll have to come back. He won't have to come back out. He'll have to keep playing. But in the theory should be he comes back out, takes stock, and then comes back in 2 or 3 games' time. He's going to have to be at the forefront of our thinking now.
Someone still not involved that we've spoken about before is Matt Warburton. What's the latest with him? Is he injured? Is he still?
No. Matt went back a while ago.
Okay.
Matt went back after Lee passed. It was. What can I say? Matt, it was a particularly difficult time anyway for him.
Okay.
He wanted to make decisions on his future. He wanted to go back to Northampton. Then sadly Lee passed, and it kind of accelerated that. And we thought it was in his best interest as a human being that we allow that to happen. Yeah.
Just looking ahead now then, Aldershot next, the game's still coming thick and fast in this season. Is that another opportunity to develop, as you say, as you go forward towards the end of the season?
I think that all depends on availability. Absolutely depends on availability, because our expectations have to be managed, don't they? And I've had a playoff team, just off the playoff team at Stevenage. It was full of Charlie Lee, Steve Schumachers, Matt Goddens, Joby McAnuff. I've had a playoff team at Yeovil full of Richards, Murphy, Collins, Wilkinson, Dickinson, Nelson, you know, some really strong men. I've also had teams that are younger, and this is where we are now. And we're not here now because we've chose younger players, we're here now because our options are limited to pick senior players. And I think you've got to look at it as I'm a first team manager, so I'm always going to be judged on winning. But to approach Toby Stevens in the same way I approach Charlie Lee would be chaos. And what it won't do is it won't support Toby. So I think it all depends on that. I think Charlie should be available for Tuesday after his suspension, which is great. But if anyone out there wants to know why we managers, we select 33 and 34-year-olds who can't run anymore. These are the reasons, because they've got resilience, they've got life experience, they've got character. This is why we go for them. And then when things aren't going great, what people call them is cart horses and old and this and that, we need young players. And then when you sign young players, this is the byproduct of young players, or one of the flips of young players. So what we haven't got and what we've had, especially in better spells this season, is we've had a lovely balance between senior and young. And obviously we've got young now, and we've got young and out of position. So it's, you know, it's look, my approach to the players will be dependent upon who is available and how I can create the best climate for them to win, because you know we've still got to win games, and we can't feel sorry for ourselves forever, and Lee wouldn't want that. So you know it's an opportunity maybe for some that haven't played as much. Sanupe had a big opportunity today to come in and play more games. Maybe we can see him a little bit more over the coming weeks. Maybe we've got to see someone else. I don't know, until we know the full extent of Max Hunt's cheek and Albie's rib and Murphy's groin and Worthy's hamstring and blimey and all of them. Dicko, I mean Carl, I'll be very surprised if Carl can play Tuesday. I mean he played on one leg for 70 minutes, bless him. And again, that's why you go back to those senior players, they get through it. They get through it. But I think it might be a game too far Tuesday for Carlos. But yeah, look, really disappointed. Some elements of the second half I was pleased. I thought Max Hunt's second half was excellent. He's been very heavily out of form. I thought he played himself back into form. Showed everyone the qualities that he has got. How many headers did he redirect away from the line? I thought he was excellent. Toby is a plus and thoroughly deserved, by the way. And we have to keep moving from there. But lots of work to do. Lots of work to do, and even more for our physio.
Thank you for your time as always, Darren. Safe trip home.